I've had students that have did very, very poorly with their entries because they either waited too long, the market was too fast for their liking, and instead of getting in the fair value gap, it starts moving away from the fair value gap and they get in there. That to me is chasing price. But they will show their results to me and say, hey, look at this. This is what I did. I know I wasn't all that great with the entry, but look what I made. And I have to be honest with them and tell them, you did poorly. You're entering in a time when the market's expanding away from the PDA rate that you should be trading. I mean, if you get real close to the low of a fair value gap and you're bearish, I ain't going to cut you off for that. But if you're like the range of the fair value gap from the highest point and the lowest point, if you're like 1.5 times that range below the fair value gap and you just happen to make money, you're going to hear it from me. That's not what we do. We don't do those things. And that's what my son's trying to do. Like he doesn't trust the fair value gap because he hasn't seen it enough. And he's telling me he wants to do it his way and just give him a little bit of time. If he doesn't do well, then he'll do whatever I tell him to do. Well, I told him, just simply do what I told you to do. Why make this longer than it needs to be? Why put me through all this? Because I don't have the patience for it. I'm 50 years old and cantankerous and I'm set in my ways and I feel like he's just being unruly. But, I understand he's 18, he's doing what he wants to do. I understand that, but you got to listen to me or it's going to be harder for you. And some of you are just the same way, just like one of my sons that don't want to listen. Good sound advice, and you don't want to listen. And he's not feeling too good about himself because he's trying to do things through ignorance, not knowing what he's doing, and he's seeing the difficulty in it. And he's chasing. He waits for it to move a little bit. Once it starts moving where he thinks it's going to go, and it's not all the time correct where he thinks it's going to go either, chases it. He's outside of a PD array. He's outside. He's waiting for the fair value gap to form, go into it, then move away from it. That's what he's trying to tell himself. That's his confirmation. That's his setup. And that is not a setup. That's chasing price. And I've seen that in my own students, whether it be in private mentorship or in the free mentorship. And it's just a matter of they haven't spent enough time studying price action, the old moves, seeing it over and over and over again, condition yourself that way you can see it, and then watching it form real time, observing it through the tape reading, not pushing a button, and then thinking to yourself, okay, it's going into that fair value gap right now, and I'm bearish. It should go up to this point here, and then in your mind, you're anticipating a turn. You're not pushing a button. You're anticipating it. You're expecting it. Inside your brain, the dialogue is, okay, we're inside here. I want to see price repel from here, reject this area, and move away from it energetically in the direction I think the draw on liquidity is. His draw on liquidity is wrong. He's not he's not sticking to the bias. He's not sticking to the expectations that I'm mapping out in the morning. Whatever I tell him to do, he's trying to find something up. It's like an arm wrestling match that's opposite to that. Now, some of you are probably smiling and listening to that, thinking, damn it, I thought I was the only one. Just because he's my son doesn't make him exempt. He's having the same human characteristics that everybody has. You want to do your own way, your own thing. Don't walk on the grass. And he's trying to moonwalk on it. And he doesn't have a moonwalk. So he's fumbling. And if it were anyone else, it would be amusing. But it's not amusing to me because number one, I feel like he's not listening to me, and I'm giving him time to talk to him about what it is I want to see him focusing on, and it's being disregarded. If it was anything else, I'd be in his ass about it. But I'm trying to be very careful not to break his spirit because I could very easily come down on him like an ogre and say what I want to say. If it was someone like you all, I'd be like a drill sergeant, and it would hurt his feelings, and then he would have a chip on his shoulder, and then he would be resentful to me, and then he wouldn't learn how to do it. So I'm trying not to smolder this ember I have right now. And I'm trusting that his difficulty he's bringing upon himself will get to some threshold where he says, okay, I tried it my way. Whatever you say, Dad. Remember, he's the one that's the most likely to be combative. He's the competitive one of my boys. He's the more outgoing extrovert. He's the wants to show everybody. And he's seeing, much like that analogy I've used many times, where you show a guy a magic trick and he thinks right away he can go out there and do it. And he doesn't do it. He can't do it. And he thinks that he's watched a few things, listened to me explain something, and he can just go out there and just do it like everybody else does with their demo going into live fund trading. I did 30 trades. 3 of them were right. Fuck it. I'm ready. Let's get out there. Let's do some live trading. I ain't got time to be waiting around anymore. That's the same mentality. And I'm not sure what's going on, but he's doing it his way, and his way ain't the right way. So I guess it could be a little bit comforting for you to feel like even in the household of ICT, the boy wonder, who I know if he just gets his shit straightened out, he could do this better than me. He could. And I can see how I was when I was 20 years old trying to do things my way when I didn't know anything. He's doing all that same stuff. And hopefully it doesn't take as long for him to snap out of it like it did for me. But I know he doesn't like that coffee shop job, and I don't like him being there either. And the longer he does all the wrong things, that pressure is going to grind on him. It's going to grind on him. And I know it'll do its work. And it'll just be a very, very large, jagged pill that he'll have to swallow and say, all right, Dad, you were right. Okay. That's not important. Now, here's what I want you to do. And it's very simple rules. It's very simple rules. The shit I'm explaining to you today in that live stream, that's essentially what I'm teaching him. Look for that. It's very easy. It's time specific. No, no, no. No, no, Dad. Look. Look what it did over here on that day. I think that's my model. What? That just happened to move. That's nothing. There's nothing there. Okay, there's nothing there. All right. Well, this is my model. Everything he sees, it's in hindsight that's moved. That's his model because he doesn't want to do the model I'm giving him, which is the same crap that my oldest son gave me. Where no, I want to do my own way. I want to go into crypto. Okay. I can't make them, right? I can't make them do it just as well as I can't make any of you listen to me. The ones that listen, they get it. The ones that don't listen, they go through a lot more hardship. And you can't do that kind of stuff through ignorance and when the market's not being cooperative like it has been for a while now. The market's gyrating, it's moving around. I understand that. But what I'm specifically aiming for setups for myself and what I'm teaching you as my students to look for, they're not as clean and frequent as we have been seeing. All that means is we're getting ready to enter a time when it's going to get really wild. We're going to have big ranges again, a lot of movement, a lot of volatility, but you can't make that come. You can't make it come faster. You have to submit to it. And that's very difficult for someone that's new. Someone that's new, they think every day is going to be like that. And you're afraid that you're going to miss that big move day, that big trending day. And today, and many other instances in the past where I've lectured and told you that we're going to have, a low resistance liquidity run condition, lower your expectations. And then it delivers like that. That to me is like a superpower for a trader. Like you want to have that skill because that is kryptonite because you need movement as a trader. You need to see pricing that is a little bit exaggerated. That's what you're looking for. You want to see some animation in price provides the movement that even if you get off on a trade and it doesn't really give you the best fill, it's still okay. You can work with it. In a market environment like this morning, you have to be absolutely laser precise inside of mud and then be willing to sit and endure back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I've done a lot of that, and it's stressful. It doesn't make a lot of sense for me to be doing that because no matter what you make in an environment like that, even if you're profitable, you feel like you ran a marathon. At the end of the day, which is only a couple hours in the morning session if you're going to be trading, it feels like you worked a 9 to 5 job plus a part-time job with no sleep. Your energy level's zapped because you've expended much more mental capital holding on to something, even though it made you a gain, if it does. You spent so much energy, so much concern about being able to stay with it and will it turn against me and how long you got to wait for it to deliver. Doesn't make any sense to me to do that. I know what I'm looking for. I'm teaching you how to look for the right ones, to zero in on those days